Morning traders, it is 4:52 Pacific time, and I'm here to talk about the Nasdaq 100 index and Nasdaq futures. I just pulled up a daily chart to start with of the NDX, and I wanted to show you a couple of things that are happening. So, big picture, we've had a healthy retracement so far. The long-term trend line, this one, the long-term trend line connecting 1100, 11,000, apologies, 10,700. Those two bottoms back with the breach of the 10K level. That long-term trend line is still obviously pending. It has price hasn't retraced all the way to that, but price has a very large hurdle at the 12,480 level. In my opinion, I feel that this particular level is serving as a magnet right now. Actually, this particular area is serving as a magnet, and it needs to be a fairly large area to account for significant price volatility around these parts. But big picture, what I'm looking for is a retest of the 12,500 from an index perspective. If I switch over quickly to the NQ futures, then the picture doesn't change too much. However, we get the benefit of volume profile analysis, and I feel like this area that I was looking for a test and a bounce off served well from 2000, 12,785, 780-ish, all the way up to 13,350. So that's great for about 500, 600 points, and we had some great trades on the futures as well here. But now that I see that this area is being tested one more time, I think what we are doing here is we are playing some uh, you know trend line tagging, the game that futures like to play a lot. So if I connected that a prominent top over there to a prominent low, let's just say, let's divide this area by two, this to separation by two, and just extend it. That's the kind of area we're looking to now test, and that happens to fall in the 12,550 zone. It should be a natural support. This particular edge, the 12,438 edge, should be a natural support and coincides with um, trend line folks as well, very nicely right over here. But I like to angle them a little bit to take into account the buyer buffer zones, right? Like the areas where the buyers will defend above. Uh, the buyers will defend above this area, generally speaking, but one can account for some lost motion where price does travel in a direction opposite to what it is wanting to do in the big picture. So anyway, we've seen the move A, B, and C completed, but now we have the D and the E extension, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by the Elliott wave count. I believe that that should stop us here. Now, for doing some Fibonacci retracement analysis, I think that also helps. If we take, let's say, a prominent low here, which now appears to be really far away, but that's okay. And if we were to connect that to a top, our all-time high here, 3900, we find that the 50% level comes in at the 12,300 area, which obviously is my go-to area for a micro long. I did do a micro long over here, by the way, guys, but I did exit on failure of the monthly VWAP to hold. In fact, this little seller buffer came into picture, which obviously scared me, so I exited around here. So that was a fairly good trade on the micros in my personal account. But here I feel like the 50% level might be a bit overextended might be a bit too far for NQ to travel to. So if we were to just move the base up over here to this most recent low, then we find that the 50% level corresponds perfectly to this edge, just to the pixel almost. Excuse me. So 12424, right? That's quite remarkable. And such an area of confluence will definitely um, serve us well to identify, right, and to monitor. So just to keep in mind that the retracement obviously has been healthy so far, but that we have completed step one, testing the edge of 12,940, bouncing, wicking out this area, but that's only step one. Step two now is to obviously come and test this big boy, this edge over here, the HPN. So again, a nice modal formation starting to happen. Obviously, 13,600. We got another nice model here, 12,840, and we got a very strong edge over here, 12,450. Right? We don't want it slipping through here and coming to test 12K. We don't want this motion. That would be, I guess, fine from from the long perspective. It would be an awesome area to have the price here, and then get your fingers ready for tons of buying. But I think that we will find support at the 12,400 level if we came up to there. And then of course we just balance out in this area. We need to balance, guys. The price needs to rest, settle, relax before it can find some news and some stimulus for yet another trip towards 80H, right? And that's how it works. Nasdaq will keep going, guys. Folks, talking heads on TVs, they talk about rotation. They talk about tech falling into weakness in 2021 with the vaccines coming out and the economy improving and the masses ditching tech to get back out into the non-tech world. Yeah, okay. I keep wishing good luck to those guys who want to talk and approach the markets that way. I believe that tech is about efficiency, and we've always wanted to do things better. We've always wanted to do them fast, to do less things if we could manage that. And the tech movement just helps that, guys. It does not matter about the Tesla. It does not matter about an Apple today. It's about, can we do things faster, more efficient, at less money? And I feel that tech tends to improve that. Over the long run, it is a net value add. So this thing's not stopping, guys. This number is 13K now. 5, 10 years, we're talking 30K, 20K. I don't care. Doesn't matter. This is a rally market. Anyway, philosophical discussion aside, that's how the market looks for the NQ and the Nasdaq. Now, I also wanted to cover SPX and the ES futures here. We've already spoken a little bit about this, and I made this little fib retracement. It is kind of tagged the 50% of that retracement that I drew last week, which is great. We were expecting to find temporary support at least at the 3800, 3820 high volume edge in the futures. This is of course the index I'm showing you, but we got a significant bounce from that. That's fantastic. That was great, but then we also got a nice little down move again, which is okay. This is typical. Sellers don't want to give up. They don't want to capitulate just yet. We do want to find an area of balance, which I will talk about when I should pull up the futures. But guess what? Big picture, we want this large trend line to have nothing to do with us anymore, really, if you think about it. And we have approached the 100 period simple on the 3790 area. That is nice. It might be providing some support, as you can see, with respect to the little buffer that's going on the index as well. But again, we need to watch for these larger macro events to really determine what happens with SPY, SPX in the long run. But if you come over to the ES futures, right, everything looks great. I'm gonna just clear my drawing set here. It's really busy as usual. But taking a simple, let's start with the fib retracement. Let's go with the second most prominent. Let's go all the way to the high. So this is obviously a scary picture with respect to how much how much is left still. If I, include the 38 and the 78.6 retracements, that is somewhat more comforting and is actually a nice directional guide for me personally. You see this edge over here, the 3700 edge right here, the high volume edge. I feel like this is the life or death edge right there. I mean, this will be defended. In my humble opinion, this will be defended big time, right, by long-term holders. They will not want price to balance in the 3650 area unless there is fundamental uh, differences in new value for the S&P 500. Okay, nothing has changed from that perspective. We are not hearing any news on the big picture trends I showed you earlier, right? China oil, yields and what have you. So we're looking to have technical trades occur, and that is okay. With the first test for us, Now to put some targets into motion. The first test for us is 3770 area, very important test, and I feel it is much needed. Let us complete these technical tests, I say. Let us complete them so that, you know, we can decide to do, uh, we can decide what happens next. We can have an initiation of what happens next, right? We cannot start to balance when there are deep technical levels pending to be tested. We did complete step one, like I said, guys. Last week I said 3880, right? Just look up the video. We have been talking about this stuff for a while now. There is a reason why some traders are successful. It's because they are prepared. We were prepared for 3880. Excellent. We were prepared. We also had our monthly VWAP. We know all this stuff. So that first test was completed. We got a nice down and an up move. We were scraped nicely on the low and the upside, and then here we are back again. That's bearish. Where is that bearish to? It is bearish to this 50 period simple moving average. Now, in fact, I normally use a 100 period moving average as well. I'm going to actually add that, guys, because step one is great. Step two actually is the 3850 area. But that's okay, it's an HVN, so I will call step 2 as this edge 3770, but I do need to add the 100. Let me just do that real quick. So I'll add a 100 period daily, simple. So now I have a 20, a 50, and a 100 on the chart. Okay, let me change the color maybe here to something else. Let's see, what color do I like? Let's go green. All right, guys, so here, now, the 38.2% somewhat, by the time this traveler barometer comes up a little bit with time, passage of time, you will find that it'll coincide. It'll coincide with our 38.2 level of 3680. This is our hard stop then. If not this one, I'm going to actually move it, guys, because I want to be. So this truly is our hard stop, but then that becomes our step 3. And that becomes our step 3. So yeah, nice and easy baby steps, guys. That's how we trade, right? Now, in terms of long-term calls and how to trade the market as a whole, well, it's very simple. You guys, uh, you wait for these steps and you assess market reaction. Generally speaking, now of course this is a all-time high here. So step one, you would not commit too much money. You would trade near term, short term. But step two, you would start to add to your positions potentially if all of the macros look good. But you know what? We have more steps to complete. So you can temper your buying a little bit over here and start to really look at how the market behaves in this area, right? In this area, especially the initial test, and start to really add to your positions. Potentially play some weekly calls as well, because these areas are generally, they reward you with a significant bounce, right? So the weekly calls go in the money real fast. Even if you were to buy slightly out of the money one, you find that it really catches up nicely and gives you. And I've shown some Tesla trades too to show some of that action. So this is the area we're looking for, guys. By the way, right? The edge 37, 25, 26 as step 3, but 37, 75, 37, 80, I believe might serve as a nice stop. But just look at the big picture, guys. We are still up, the cloud 9, cloud 8 level. Okay, we haven't come back down to cloud 7 or cloud 6. So we need to still take it easy with respect to how far along the market has chugged. Um, it's still in a very large bull trend. Just to complete the picture, let's just say maybe with this trend line right here. So that also kind of forebodes 37.75, 37.80 test, by the way, this long-term trend line. And that's it, guys. I'll end the video here. We assessed ES and the NQ as well as the NDX as well as the SPX. Hopefully this gives a good perspective on what's coming next, guys. Thank you so much. Please do like and subscribe. Really appreciate you guys subscribing after viewing my videos. Thanks again.